everybody.
Hey, y'all.
I'm Joy,
And I'm Ebony.
and we want to welcome y'all back to your auntie's house. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
So, as y'all know, if this is your first time over here at the auntie house, I'm gonna say it again, but for the people who've been over here, just skip this part. So we're in season 3 of the podcast. How that happened, LOL, I don't know. But this season is all about the house guests. So we have been having just our people over to talk about their journeys, talk about their vision, talk about their dreams, things that have to do with trying to become real live adults and how we're gonna make it out of here with some dreams intact. You know what I'm saying? So, as you all know, I have been Miss Popular for the last couple of weeks, and this will be my finale. So, what a way to close it! I have my friend and my sister here, Miss Jaiva Crawford. Woo, woo, woo. That's the
Welcome.
sound. Yes. So
Yes, all the things.
yes. So we want to let you, Jaiva, introduce yourself to the people, and it don't have to be nothing crazy. Just yo, fast facts, and then we'll get it cracking.
This is literally my least favorite question, and we just did this. Okay, so hi everybody. Every time, like, oh, am I special? I don't know. Like, what's weird facts? Okay. Hi everybody. My name's Jaiva Crawford. Jaiva, long I. You can call me Jay if that's easier. And I love to dance, and I love the color blue, and I love music. I love art. I love all things Black. I love food. And I love people most days. Most days. Pretty okay. People aren't the best, but you need them. So we're here. Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just love Jesus. And amen. Yeah, and I just love life. Love to laugh.
Yes. He also enjoys long walks on the beach.
Yes.
And does.
Love that.
Mimosa in hand.
Yes, I know that's
you
right.
said.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, were
So
you being serious? Like you really love Tai Chi?
no, I was just saying
Oh.
that. I was just saying because it was like giving dating profile.
Yeah. Bring out the horses, cue music, cue sunset, all the things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do love Thai food though. Not what you asked, but I do love Thai food.
We see each other.
Yes. We shall make that happen. It's a date. We'll put that down.
Yeah, she already gonna be in the city. One of our other guests had
Yeah.
invited her to his show that he's carrying. You gotta go to Monet. So yeah, everyone is gonna P.S. Call her Monet. Sorry, put your
Those are my government names.
Yeah,
Wow.
excuse me. Oh well, but that's who I'm talking to. I don't be like, who is Monet, right? You.
Yes, we're here.
Yes,
She's the only one.
Thank you. I do what I can.
Literally.
Anyhow, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, Monet. So we've been talking about again, experiencing the journey. So that's our journey of life, right? What it means to protect you will actually be our first person to talk about what it means to protect your dream. And then also having a vision for your life. So I just want to start it out so we can get a little bit more comfortable with who is this girl, right? Who is our house guest? And tell us a little bit about like baby Jaiva. Like, what did you see yourself doing when you were a little girl, and what did you want to do?
Oh man, little J.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with I have the exact same face. I like literally just grew into it. My head was obnoxiously large. It still is. And like my dance teacher, our dance teacher used to call me baby dinosaur because like I just had this very distinctive like head shape. It was very weird. She's gonna laugh when she sees this. But yeah, so I've been literally dancing since the ripe age of 3. But I could tell you then baby Java probably didn't think dance was the goal yet.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't come till maybe like high school to think that I could like do this dance thing as a real lifestyle. My first goals in life though, I love my math and science. I'm a nerd, like biggest bookworm with minus the reading, like the pictures and stuff.
Right.
My dad was like a huge huge like academic, and so I had all the encyclopedias when that was a thing, all the atlases. Remember we used to read maps? This is pre-MapQuest. Remember we used to read maps?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, whoa.
Fun part.
So
Mhm.
mind blown, yeah, to even think. And this is Ask Jeeves. It just came out, I think. I don't even know if he was around still. But anyways, literally showing our age. Even
Right.
though we're like, even though they lump us in the same generation, I'm like, give me distinction, because like I will refuse to just be associated with the others. Um,
Mhm.
Word.
the others, I don't think generation should be like a whole 9-10 year gap, because like something after that 5 years, like what's wrong with the
It's
others?
different. Yeah.
What is with the others? It's like 96 and on. I can't get jiggy with it. I don't get it.
No.
But anyways, 93. Um yeah, so I thought, loving math and science and being very well at it in school, I thought that I was going to be some sort of math teacher or some sort of scientist. Then as I grew older and started to learn, like, I learned empathy very young. I was a very sensitive kid, cried all the time when it was pertaining to other people. Like if I saw someone else hurt, I would do whatever I could to like, and then my dad would be like, that has nothing to do with you, stay out of trouble and stuff like that. But I didn't understand that that was empathy until much later in life. So I've always had this like giving, and so this giving like heart posture. And so then, although I'm not a fan of reading books per se, I'm more of a documentary girl. Um, I grew to love the idea of words and what they mean, and to be able to decipher um, emotions and how and why people feel the way that they do. And so my dad has this, well, both of my parents have a military background, but my dad specifically, which I didn't find out till later in life, wanted to be a therapist. I too wanted to be a therapist. So that was actually one of my first goals, was to be a therapist. And then I got older and I was like, I got too many of my own issues to be trying to go help other folks with their issues. Who am I to come and tell you, you know what I mean? And then to leave and clock out, turn his light off, close the door, and then go home to mayhem in my own life. Like I just felt a little bit of hypocrisy there. And so I don't know. As I've gotten older, I'm like, no, I still need a therapist, and they still got their own life too. You know what I mean? Like it could have been a thing, but the older you get, you start to learn the difference between like gifts, talents, and like abilities and purpose and all these things. And so something like girls who are good at hair but aren't necessarily hair stylists or
Yeah.
makeup artists. Like everyone has a lane. So just because you're good at it doesn't mean it's for you. It could just be a gift that you have. And so that whole therapist thing definitely went out the window. And I was like, yeah, that's a no. But I got to college and I got to take some psychology courses about the brain and human interaction. And I was like, I definitely could do this. But I was pursuing 2 other degrees full time at that time. I was like, that's okay. And then I found out it was like way more reading than I was already doing. And I was like, oh, that's okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna just use my good listening skills and like emotion and communication filters for like friends. I just disseminate good listening techniques here instead of trying to make it a global thing. But yeah, and so, anyways, through all that realization of what life I thought I would be leading, dance was nowhere near in the forefront, although it was something I was always doing in the background. I never stopped dancing that entire period of time I just gave you. I was just doing things as well as dancing. And so, so much so that I went to college and got 2 degrees, one in criminal justice and one in dance. Like, still didn't think dance would be a thing, but I went and majored in it. Not minored, not took some classes, but majored in it anyway. And it was like, just in case, just in case. So then I moved from therapy to, I wanted to be an FBI agent because I love crime shows and they all have a very false pretense of what the process is really like. And so we all, the legendary dun dun for, Law and Order, which literally stays on my TV, or Criminal Minds, or NCIS, or CSI Miami. Shout out to her show. Okay, the glasses. Yeah, and so I was like, well, I love helping people. This is a little bit of science. My degree in criminal justice was particularly in behavioral sciences. And so I was like, I could be a forensic scientist and let's just do this. And then we'll be an FBI agent somehow or whatever. And then I found out that I either had to go to the services somehow, some way, and or become a police officer for a couple years to do like foot patrol work and just work my way up. And I was like, I am not doing that either. So
Well, you was gonna be thrilled.
she was not. She was not. So as I found that out, I was like, oh, we can wrap that up. We just gonna finish this degree because we on the way out the door. We gonna figure it out.
Right.
And literally, kid you not, 3 days before graduation, I was like, I should just go to law school. Boom. And there it was. And I'm not doing that either. But that's sort of the evolution of my thinking on what my life would look like, the career that I thought I would have, and compounding upon that, the many layers of how I got there. And we're here now. Doing none of those things. But each of them was a good step to experience, and each of them were different pieces of me that very much so still play a role in who I am today and how I operate, how I think. I very much so still think very logically and structured. I still move with empathy and love, but I very like there's a reason for everything that I just stated and why I thought I was going to do all of those things. And they represent who I am today. And my brain is in many of those different areas. So yeah.
So when did you have your aha dance is it?
Oh, last year.
Really?
Yeah. So with the law school thing, I was definitely okay, so let's just back up. So I graduated college with 2 degrees, 1 day apart, praise God, got it done, all 127 credits on both in 4.5 years. Praise God. All right. Yeah, I did summer school every year I was there because we was getting in, we was getting out. Okay. Yes. So once that was completed, I made the very abrupt decision, not logical at all, to go to law school. I was already at the time working at a law firm prior to graduation. So literally I just graduated and I just went back to work. And so at that time I was a legal assistant and at this small firm in Cobb County. And randomly, like very randomly, this firm called me through a temp agency that I had not signed up for, never heard of or anything, saying that they were looking for help and they had found my resume online somewhere, which I did not remember where I had placed it. And asked me if I wanted a job for X amount of money, which is not much, but at that time it was way more than I was making. And I was like, yeah, I just graduated. I need a job. This like real life is happening right now. And so ended up going to this other firm. I won't name any names, but went to this other firm as a temp, and I was there for 8 months before they hired me permanently. Then I was there for about 5 years in total before I moved to another firm. And so, which I'm no longer at now. And so within that 5 year span of that, I'd say my first big firm, but technically my second firm because I was already working. But within that 5 year span, I took the time to make that law school dream come true. And so I took all the classes I could, studied, I bought all the books, applied for the test, took the test ample times, paid lots and lots and lots of money for the test to hold my scores. There's this CAS report and a lot of things. So 5 years, 4 test times, and 3 times of applying to schools and getting rejected all of those times. And $1,600 later, I decided we're gonna just put a pin in this right now. Because at this point, you're talking about someone who graduated at the top of their class. I was the valedictorian in high school. I was in the top 10% in my college class with 2 majors, with a 3.68 GPA or something like that. Someone who's never failed in academia ever. Hitting a brick wall in something that I thought should have been easy as cake. And I was like, what is happening here? So 5 years of taking that test 4 times. And you have to think, it's not like your GRE or anything. And that's not to demean those exams, but it's to put into context how much time is needed to study just for that one exam. And so each time I took it, it was a year-long process. So literally, since the moment I graduated from college, I have been studying each year and taking this test each year. You're talking about a mental exhaustion and a soul crushing experience when you just aren't achieving it. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? I'm paying for the teachers. I'm literally sacrificing every weekend I have. I'm working 80 hours a week at this point because at the time, the firm I was with was, they still are very litigation heavy. And so, although I was literally in the place to be, I was in the creme de la creme of firms, of attorneys, clientele, meeting all sorts of people, very famous people, shaking like face to face, like could smell their breath, famous people. And I was very miserable. It was not where I wanted to be at all. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but I kept going to different genres of law. And so my initial concept with law was I hadn't figured out how to make dance work, although I had a degree in it. So my idea was, well, why don't I just go to law school and become an intellectual property attorney so I can be the attorney for the artist? So I could help artists save their money, because I knew at the time my other dancer friends who had decided to pursue this full time were having issues with contracts and issues with keeping money and retaining money. And how do I make a livelihood? I don't have a savings. I'm literally just going gig to gig, and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm at a firm stacking checks, you know what I mean? And like, well, I'm living great, but like internally, my soul is like dying because I'm at the whims of my computer. Everything I do is this computer. And when it's time to clock out, I now have to study. And the LSAT and the MCAT are, excuse me, I don't know if we can cuss, are no ho. Okay, no ho to be reckoned with. And so if you think that you're gonna go in here and study like it's a quick spelling test and then take this exam, you thought wrong. And that was my approach the first time. Now the second, third, fourth time, I of course came with a much different approach, but it can be very daunting on the body and on the mind and on the spirit. And when you don't have any time to do that, meanwhile, the rest of life is lifing, right? You're trying to like date and like pay bills and maybe take a vacation and go to birthdays and all these things. And take a dance class here and there to make sure you're still sane, just all the things. And so I want to say after the fifth time of taking it, Jesus, it sounds like madly ridiculous. Like, what is it, ludicrous? It sounds ridiculous to say it out loud, but at the same token, not really, because there's someone who's probably on their sixth time of taking it. And if you hear me, keep going. If that is what you want, keep going. But for your girl, I had to check out because I noticed that I was unhappy. Like I couldn't even be in a happy moment and genuinely be happy. Like the only time I was happy was on my birthday and like on holidays because I was off. Literally because I was off. Like that was it. And every other day I was at work, even on weekends, even on holidays, even if it was just some document review. If it was Saturday and we had a trial coming up, there was work to be done. And so people thought that I was living it well. And I was like, I would trade this money for anything. And at the time, I wasn't even really holding the money because of some family things. So the money I had, I was helping family. So it's like I was never really holding anything of my own. And I was like, Lord, something's got to give. So first things first, I got to get the hell up out of here. So I decided to I went through this moment where it was one of my best friend's birthday, and the trip was to Puerto Rico. And I had just taken for the fourth time, I think, 4 times in a 5-year span. Yes. So for the fourth time, which was my last time, I had just taken it in August. The scores were to come back the day we left for the trip. And I said, I'm not going to look until I get back, because if my scores are bad, I'm going to have a terrible time. So let's just wait. So I waited. When I got back, my score had only gone up like maybe like 2 points. You're talking about defeated, distraught, all the things. So I went through like a 3-month moment where I just kind of shut down, and I wasn't talking to like anybody. And if I was, it was very like surface level, very basic. And I was masking it very well, very well. And I think it's because I, at that point, had become so numb to it. I was just like, I don't even have a feeling to feel about it anymore. And I just don't know what to do. So I'm gonna just be here, but I still have to do my job. So that's a hard place to be in. Um, so then one day my dad texted me or called me and he just noticed, he was just like, you've been off for a while and I have just been waiting on you to say something. I have not been trying to ruffle your feathers about it, but I can't sit here any longer. What is going on? He was like, are you pregnant? Is something like, what, is there something that you are ashamed of that you aren't bringing to me? Your character is just so very out of normal. And so I was just like, I'm a failure. I didn't pass again. And I just, all these things. And I promised you and mom I would do these things and buy you this house and for all your sacrifice and say thank you and all the things. And I'm never going to amount to anything because it was so bad. And he didn't text me back. My dad at this time, he still works for this company now, but where I was in proximity to him, we were like 11 minutes apart. He never texted me back. I go back to work. I'm thinking he got caught up in some work. Child, security guard called me down talking about there's a package here for you. And I was like, well, I didn't order anything recently. And we did that often. Because we were always at work, we would just send our packages to work instead of at home because we didn't want people to pick them up outside and things like that. Yeah, child, and it was good on them UPS points, okay? Um, so we frequently got things delivered to the office. And so I was like, well, I didn't order anything recently. I don't have anything on a reoccurring order to keep coming to the office. I didn't know what it was. So I get downstairs and there are like 2 flowers for me. It's 2 roses. And I have them over there, nice and dried. And I was like, who gave these to you? And they were like, there's this guy. He came and he left. And I was like, what guy? I was like, this is weird. How did he know where I worked? Like my emotions are like flipped out. My dad comes from around the corner and I just like sob. And I was like, he was like, you are okay. I didn't know you was gonna flip out like this. You got to get, you are in the lobby. We are in the lobby. And I am just burrowed in his chest. It was like soaking wet. And by the time I was done crying, he was like, you didn't fail me.
Oh,
Okay.
friend.
That's okay.
He said, I just want you to be happy and I'm going to be proud. I'm always proud of you. It's your life. Do what makes you happy. You didn't fail me. You kept going. That's how I know you didn't fail me. And I was like, wow. And so he was like, okay, well, I was like, I gotta get out of here. And he was like, okay. So what are you gonna do? I was like, I don't know, get the fuck out of here. He was like, okay. So literally 2 months later, found another job at a new firm. Thought it was gonna go good there. And then as soon as I got there, I was like, Dad, I can't do this. And he was like, is it the firm? What is wrong? And I was like, I just don't think law is it. He was like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I just don't want to fall. And he said, well, if you don't jump, you won't do anything.
Mm.
So I said, I just want to dance. And he said, okay. Not what I thought I was going to get. You're talking about military man by the book. You're talking about a man who literally raised me to make my bed and the saying was no wrinkles. I hear it every day, no wrinkles. If he came and pulled them sheets back and it was start over because that's how he was raised. And my dad is 1 of 7. He's number 6 of 7. So there was a lot of order in his house as well. You know what I mean? And my grandfather was a military man. All of my uncles are military men except for one. He's a chef. So you're talking about someone who comes from discipline and structure and logic and the notion of moving the needle without a plan was something he never did. Joy knows I always had to have my ducks in a row before I asked for it. We talking about just going to Golden Glass skating ring. Who gonna be there? Who picking you up? What time you coming? What time you going? What you wearing? They mama them. Do you got money? Did you eat before you going or you need money for concession stand? All these questions need to be answered before you know what I mean? Like before you even think to ask me. Is your homework done? Do you got dance practice tomorrow? Are your clothes clean? Is your room clean? Is the bed made? Boom. If those 10 things are good, sure, go ahead. I'll see you when you get back. You know what I mean? If any question was I don't know or unanswered, you're not going, or you got X amount of time till it's time for you to go, you better figure it out. So for me to come at my grown age to say I don't know what I'm going to do, but here's what I want to do, and I have no idea how I'm going to get there, and for him to say that's fine, whatever you want to do, and I was just like, okay.
Yes.
So then I called my mom, who is now becoming a figure in my life. She wasn't so much so at the beginning. She was around, let me say that, but she wasn't a huge game changer in my decision making and how I thought, my processing. So in my adult age, she and I have started to grow in that nature. And so uh coming off of a hard tussle she and I were going through, what better moment than when you're down and out than to call your mommy crying. um and I just gave her the entire spiel I gave my dad in the lobby. I'm a failure, all these things. I promised you, I said this. What if people think? And blah, blah, blah. I've been saying this for years. And now I look like I went back on my word and all these things. And she said, well, look at what I'm doing. Which I won't discuss at the time, but it was something very abstract and very non-corporate, very non-traditional, very not at home in a house with a car like normal people. She was like, girl, this your life. Live it. Live it. And she, gave me her advice. And then of course she said, well, what did your father say? And I told her what he said. She said, well, then you don't need anything else. Everything else you need is inside of you. Just go. And so I just been jumping ever since. And then I got fired.
Don't forget that.
So
Yeah.
so I said, well, I'm going to give myself till August of this year, 2023, to get some sort of plan of action in place and figure it out. I had all these big dreams to move to Texas. I was telling Joy, I'm like, I'm going to Texas. I'm going to buy a house, and like I'm paying too much for this apartment. This is stupid. I don't have kids. I don't have a boyfriend. Like, why not? And then in the midst of all of those things, I was still praying, God, get me out of here. I would rather, words are powerful. I literally told someone verbatim, I would rather struggle doing what I love than to be here and be unhappy every day. And literally 3 days later, I got fired. And I was like, okay, Lord, well, what do we do now? So like, I feel as though but I didn't cry. I wasn't shaken by it at all. I've never been fired in my life. That was a first. Um, Especially when it wasn't based off of merit or performance. And I genuinely did nothing wrong. So there's that, but karma will find its way to those people. But yeah, it happened, and I was like, okay, well, that just happened. So then I called my dad like directly after it happened. I was like, Dad, you're never gonna guess what happened. He was like, what? Did you win the lottery? And I was like, the opposite of that thought. He was like, what happened? I was like, I got fired today. He was like, no, what? Like, and so kind of on edge, but kind of saw it coming as well. Just from the dilemmas I was having with the people here at that new firm, and we had talked about it thoroughly. And so his response was, well, guess you can dance now. Well, he was like, I don't know what you're gonna do. You need to find some money, but I guess you can dance now. And I was like, yeah, like this is literally a blessing in disguise. I just honestly feel like God was like, August, whatever. No need to bring that energy into 2023. Like, we're just going to speed this up 6 or 7 months, get you out of here, literally at the most inconvenient time. But it couldn't have been the best time because although physically and emotionally, I didn't feel too well around the time that following week for Thanksgiving, my entire family was here, and that never happens. And so it was good to be with family in my time of cloudiness, even though I feel as though I wasn't present. I was just there. And so I don't like that feeling, but I know in hindsight, I was exactly where I needed to be with the people I needed to be with in the time that I received that information. And I was in the midst of a 3-month detox, a full body cleanse. So I was eating nothing but fruit at that time. So I'm depressed as hell. It's cold outside. I lost my job. I can't eat nothing but fruit. And I have no money now, no income now. And I just got fired kind of for no reason. And I was like, well, God, now's the time. Now more than ever. And even if it doesn't work, I would rather not regret not trying while I have the time. Again, no children, no boyfriend, no husband, no girlfriend, no wife, no crazy bills except for my car note and the damn student loans. Joe, cancel. And I'm in a pretty decent spot. My credit score is immaculate. So like I'm in a really good place. It was just the timing of it all. But yeah, I would say then it was long-winded of answering that. Then was the moment I was like, but now's the time. I have this able body and this able mind. I can still kick my legs up. Clearly high. I was gonna say not too high, but they up there, and I'm your girl is shocked, okay? Because I've been in these classes with the kiddos, and I'm like, look at me go! Oh, wow, keeping up, looking like Aunt Viv out there with give us the shoulders. Like, you know, she was looking stupid that one time and came back and ate the girls up. Yeah, just minus the stupid at first, but yes. So that was when. Sorry, that cycled into a whole something.
It was the journey.
Correct. And I was like, and that's all we do here is cycles. So listen, I want to let that breathe for just like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just because you said a lot.
It was some great stuff in there.
And cried, didn't know I was gonna cry Jesus on the camera, Lord. Tired.
Hey, you had me, and so I said, oh, I got to keep these lashes on, baby. Disappoint y'all.
Child, my mascara rubbing off. I was like, I thought they said it was waterproof, Lord. It ain't a lie.
And meanwhile, we always like kid around because I'm like not the crier in the friend group. So I'm like,
she well enough. She knows she was. It was right here. Okay.
There it is. Yes, we got you, friend. We're here.
Wow, that was money. All right. Well, like I said, I was gonna do. I started writing things down.
Okay.
Because you said something, and it made me think of something that you had said before, where it was like it was always in the background, like so we're, you know, I mean, you can tell it because it's your stuff.
Yeah. It was the exact same thing. So like when I was younger, first thing I ever wanted to be was a hairdresser. I still can't do hair like to this day. I wanted to.
Fro is froing though. She looks good.
I really appreciate that. It's because you're so far away. You're not up on her.
It's good.
You don't know. But yeah, I want to be a hairdresser. I can plait.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that just when you bring it off the whoop-de-whoop? Plait.
Not on the scalp though. You got to have it already in the ponytail.
Out of there, yeah. Like apart from the head. So I was like, I used to snap like on the Barbie doll on the Bratz head.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a choreographer. I took 2 hip hop classes, and that was because I won this competition at school. And like I used to, I could just learn every music video. So naturally, choreographer, like I know.
Come on, 1, 2 step.
Yeah, like I know.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, like I'm singing. So like I'm singing in the choir. Singing, like I think I tried out for like the Apollo came to Jacksonville for whatever reason. And my sister tried out. She won like all these amateur nights in the city. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to be like my sister. So I was always singing, but it was always in the background. Like when I got to middle school, I remember my chorus. I went to an art school. Like I went for creative writing.
Wow.
But I knew that I wanted to sing. But I was like, let me just go in for creative writing. My mom was like, you write?
What you mean, right?
The funny thing about it, I think the only thing I had ever written, like I was, you know, it was middle school, so I had to audition. Middle school, you ain't doing nothing but writing acrostic poems, I'm spelling my excellent, like be beautiful. That's the only poem I got in my bag, right? But when I knew I wanted to audition, I remember I went to Walmart, Care Bears notebook, and I wrote a couple poems. Dog, they rhymed and all. And I went to the audition, smashed it.
Yeah.
So I got in, but something told me, I was like, I'm gonna go just talk to the chorus teacher. Like, I don't even know him, but I'm gonna just go talk and I'm gonna sing something, and maybe he'll let me in. And he did, but I remember telling him, he's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to be a pharmacist. Where did that come from? I don't know. And he was like, oh, okay, so a pharmacist who sings? And I'm like, yeah, pharmacist who sings. And I just kept going. Like, I want to be an optometrist, OBGYN, but I was always singing. I was always performing. Even when I went to college, I didn't major in vocal, but I'm singing all around the city. I mean, I didn't major in like vocal performance or anything. It was just always in the background.
And she was a celebrity. Do you understand? Tallahassee, that's her.
Yeah.
Ebony Cassie. I don't know.
Not no more. Hey.
Bring a pop-up back. They're gonna be like, y'all remember her?
Right. And you, because no, that was her.
Bring the crowd out.
No, but that's so funny because I just likewise military background. My parents weren't as strict, but they are definitely like stability. Like, what are you gonna do? But they're still supportive at the same time. But I think that in the back of my mind, I was always like, can I build a stable career from making music? And like all the myths and the legends that I've heard about musicians in the music industry, I never once was like, I want to be a singer, period. Like, I want to be a singer, period. Like, no plan B, like no backup plan. But music was just always in the background, like even to this day.
Yeah, that's funny you say that they asked you that, because people literally used to be like, so you're gonna dance around the crime scene? I'm like, yes, actually. And watch me not fuck up the evidence. Watch me tiptoeing around it. People literally used to say that, and I just used to just joke about it all the time. And I never thought about how those two worlds were intertwined. I was like, there's no way. It didn't put two and two together a long time ago. I should have picked it up then when they were joking, but I never thought about it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dance around the crime scene. What you mean? And solve this murder. The hell? What?
Damn, black people. Only black people ask you something crazy like that. You gonna swirl around the tape? Well, watch out. But
I'm gonna get the tape and do
period.
It. Like, stop.
It's gonna be a little liturgical. You understand? Not playing with me. But that kind of brings me. Both of you all said, and that made me think. That was one of the things that I wrote down. Is like, and when you just said that, it made me think of it even more. Where it's like, what do y'all think that is when it's and I'm asking for myself because LOL, but what do you think that is when you feel like you are doing something around your dream, right? So when you said something that you were like, what if I go to law school so I can help with an artist contract, right? Versus just being the artist. What do you think stops you from just being like, let me be her? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me?
Fear, society. So like, capitalism is a hoe, right? So like, boom, we get to school and all we get is conjunction junction, what's your function? And I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Literally, that's all we get. And then we get Pocahontas, and then we take the ITBS test and we out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and so the idea of, I think we had like one economics class in 12th grade. That was it. Like, and it wasn't even required to graduate. So like, and then if you don't major in like math or statistics or something, or architecture or something that requires you to have some sort of knowledge of money, numbers, and finances. If you don't major in anything in that nature in college, or don't even take a course on it just for an elective, the idea and the concept of money management is something that is very foreign and very scary. And so all we know, and credit. And so all we know is get a debit card, save some money, which you find out that white people don't even have debit cards. They don't even use them. They literally just use credit cards and just pay the money back immediately so their credit score go up. But you don't learn that till later. I didn't get my first credit card till after I graduated college, when I got it through Macy's. That's how I got my credit card and started building my credit up. But anyways, I say all that to say, you have things such as stability in life, and everything costs money. And there's a certain threshold to exit like a certain caliber of living. And so we all, not all, but some of us, the black and browns, some of us grew up under a certain level. I won't call it the poverty level because that's a little down here, but there's a poverty line. And some of us grew up under it, not even knowing it. And then we we get to a space where we start getting jobs at 16, 17, start making our own little coin or whatever, and you start to learn taxes and where your money and things are going to. And so the idea of I have to now make money to survive, to live, it knocks out this whole notion of having a dream, because your dream, a lot of times, depending on what that dream may be, it doesn't necessarily come with the price tag. It does not necessarily come with something that you can foresee, I can make a comfortable living out of this. And even if you do, there's always 2 or 3 more other steps you got to do before you can even get there. So a lot of people, budding entrepreneurs, their business is only a sliver of their time. They got 2, 3 other jobs to make this sliver of their business even happen before the sliver can become majority of their time. So you're talking about going to school hoping to make a life in the arts, but realizing that after I come off campus, I actually have a real light bill. When I come off campus, I got a real water bill. When I come off campus, ain't no more shuttle bus. I need to actually get to work. So that means I need a what? Car, which you thought just you needed gas, but no, you need insurance for that whole too. So you're not just, you know what I mean? It's just so many things. And then you start to do what? Try to get your own apartment now that we off campus, right? And you thought that you was just gonna get this apartment, but then you find out that you got $275 for administrative fees just to submit the application. You ain't even gave them first month's rent yet. You know what I mean? So this is fresh out of college. We what, 21, 2, 3 years old? Still fumbling, still figuring it out. And so for all of us with goals in the arts realm, that can be a very hard space to navigate when all you did or learned or accrued or accredited while in college was how to perfect the art, but now how to make the art a lifestyle. So until you go to school for, I guess, a master's in MFA or MBA or whatever, that's a whole other set of like money. But like we go to these performing arts schools to learn how to be better at those things. You go to Juilliard to be the best ballerina to hopefully get picked up by ABT. Then if you don't get picked up by ABT or Balethnic or Balanchine or whatever all these other great companies are, then what? Like then now what? So now real life kicks in. So that whole ballet dream you had, we got to go to McDonald's and get this $7.25 until we can figure it out. Because we need what? That bus pass or that MARTA pass to get on the bus to still come to Juilliard in the afternoon to take these classes, so you can at least still be seen, so you can stay in the pot. Because once you're not in the line of sight, they forget about you. So it's so many factors that play into not chasing your dream first, if you will.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, first I'll say, because there are some people who have maybe not the luxury, but the privilege of having parents that can sacrifice more than others can. And so some of them get to up and go to LA at 13, 14 years old and get discovered much earlier. Some of them get to go to New York and Broadway and do these things much earlier. Some of them get to go to whatever symphony halls, you know what I mean, and try out for these wind ensembles early in life. And that's how they become these child prodigies or whatever, because their parents or team or whoever got the time to move them. Beyonce and them had money and parents who had the capability, the know-how, the wherewithal, the access to do so. So people who ain't Beyonce, who came to Destiny's Child later, you know what I mean, are trying to catch up, you know. So many things. It's like, and I talk about this often with some of my dance friends, like, I'm dancing when I said I'm in there with the young ones, I don't mean to make myself sound extremely old, because people I look up to, the giants in the dance world, they are much older than me. But the girls that are booking are the 18, 19, 21, 22-year-olds, the ones that are either in college, fresh out of college. I'm actually twirling with some 15-year-olds, killing the game. And these girls are phenomenal. And so I often have to remind myself when I see them on BET Awards and all these other places, and I'm like, I know that little girl, I know that girl, I know that girl, or whatever. Like, not necessarily in a comparison, but I have to remember, Jay, not that they didn't work, but you had a different upbringing. You went to college, you did this, you did that, you got a job for 7 years, you got your own apartment, you paid all your bills. You know what I mean? You're where you are is where they'll be trying to get later. So you may feel like you're in the back end trying to catch up, but you're exactly where you need to be. And what you bring to the table is it's a little more finding the word, because I don't want to make myself seem better than anyone because I'm not, but it's a little more refined. They are very fearless, they're wild, they're outgoing. I'll try the trick. I can do 5 back handsprings. Meanwhile, I'm like, this back ain't bending over to do nothing, but let me give you this cute hinge and let me hold it for 8 counts. That's what I can do. You know what I mean? And that shows a different level of strength. You don't have to be Trickiana in the room. You can kill an audition with a mean walk and a glare, and then come hit this 8 count of choreography and then exit the room and book. You know what I mean? So, but there, you gotta know your angles, know your lane, and that. So I'm in the beginning stages of that, of finding it, finding what my knack is, what my niche is, figuring out who I present, because apparently, which I don't know why I didn't think, but dance is very image based. So this whole social media epidemic we're in, everything is very visual, and so I've been rocking these braids lately. Like I just take them out, wash them, get them redone. And braids have become my look, but I know a lot of girls where like red hair is their thing. So every time you see them in an audition, they got red hair and stuff like that to identify you. So I'm learning the little nooks and crannies of what makes an artist not just like in high demand, but distinctable, if that makes any sense. And it's very different in both worlds. You have like commercial and concert, and I try to dibble in both. Well, I'm in this commercial side, and they're like, "Girl," I think I said one day for a performance, like, "Don't forget to take y'all jewelry off." They was like, "Take our jewelry off? What? And then I'm gonna lose it? What am I doing with it?" And it was like a whole thing. Nails was bright red and hoops, and I was like, "What if you dance out of your ear?" And I was like, "Well, then we just gonna lose it, but we gonna wear it today." And I'm like, "They was like, it's a part of my look," and I'm like, "Okay." And she looked great. She danced down. You know what I mean? But it was a culture shock for me, if you will. I was like, y'all just come to class late like that, and you're late in class.
Michelle Douglas is set up.
Yeah. I mean,
and they have no red nail nowhere. Who?
Ain't no polish on the toes. Everybody was in a bun. Even if you had a braids, it was in a braided bun. Yeah, it's a very two different worlds. And I'm trying to learn now how to navigate them both. It's very fun, a little confusing, but very fun. And I love it because it's bringing out a different side of me that I've never seen before. It's making me a little more bold. I'm very I can be outspoken, but I'm really conservative. I'm actually really to myself. I don't have a lot to say often, even though I'm probably thinking a lot. 9 times out of 10, I'm observing more than I'm speaking. And so this entertainment role or commercial side of dance is causing me to have to come out of my shell. And so I have to speak to people now instead of observing first and be like, maybe I'll talk to you. Like, no, I have to come in and speak to you because I don't know who you are, or what you can help me with, all these things, you know. I have to learn how to do makeup. That's new. Yeah. And I'm like, because why? Because why? I see why the girlies do it, much respect, but she's not me. Okay. And but I will learn because when I'm on camera with lights, I tend to wash away. And there's not enough editing you can do to make me appear like the girl I'm standing next to. So I have to, present my own face. Yeah, I'm learning how to edit videos and stuff now. I'm learning how to do a lot more. A lot of people say your talent is like literally 5% of the business. The business is the business. And so I'm learning all the background stuff, how to look for jobs or dance auditions and gigs, how to construct a resume, that I need 2-3 resumes, that I need 2-3 different hot headshots, how many photos, the types of photos that I need, and all the things. Like there's so many things. Knowing what part of the year is what season in the cycle. Like right now we're in very like audition heavy season. Then there'll be like a very heavy training season where there won't be a lot going on. So you should probably be in class and tightening up or whatever. Then there'll be a season where it's like showtime. So there's a lot of things that you probably should have been preparing for in the season before that, that's now happening in the season under that. So just a lot going on. You all right over there, friend? Somebody else up?
No. It's just just preparing in the season before for the season is
Yeah. A lot. Tis a lot. Yeah. And with all of that, I'll let you get to the next question or whatever we're gonna say next. But I was gonna wrap that up as we're talking about seasons. As people joked about whether I was gonna dance on the crime scene or not, they always asked me why I had such two polar opposites of majors. And I would say that the middle ground was always structure. Dance gives you a structure and a discipline that, for me, that can be channeled into every other channel of life. And I think you may feel the same about music. There's a discipline that you need in order to read music, to hear music, to know the instruments, different pieces of the instruments, how much breath to use when you're using those instruments, how to come in when you're with a band and y'all just going off the riff, or if there's a song, or if there, you know what I mean? Or what if there's a moment you're going off the riff and you don't know the song? How do you catch the harmony and the tune to come? Little things like that. Same aspect with dance. And so I find that the girls and the guys, because baby, the guys are twirling, okay? Killing us. They look good. I'm like, sick of you guys. Everything you do it well.
right.
Sick of it. The girls and the guys, in my opinion, because I'm still very novice at this, on the concert side, the twirling side, we all very much so think the exact same way about that. Like, fifth position is fifth position. I can tell the difference in our classes, or if I'm rehearsing for something over here versus something over there. If I'm in a hip hop or heels or whatever, it is very detailed. Like, we're coming, make sure that the hip is on this side and not this side, or make sure you do it on this way and not this way, or make sure that your head is like tilted and not necessarily leaning, or stuff like that. And that's because everything is based off of unison and shape, and making sure that the glob moves as one band, one sound, everybody as one, right? In the concert world, I can tell, like, our questions are different. We're literally like, not only is the foot pointed or flexed, but is it coming from my knee or my quad? Am I pulling from my back or from up here? Like, do you want my arms out here, or do you want them here? Do you want, like, here when we're turning, does it come here? Does it come up and over, or does it come under and over? Like, what is it that you want? And our conversations we have are so different. And I'm like, that's structure. That's discipline, to even know that I can get to fourth here, and here. Whereas over here, we're like, just get there. I don't know what this move is called, but just go down and come up and make sure everyone looks the same doing it. You know what I mean? But over here, no, not only do your shapes matter, but your positioning matters. Because as soon as one of you is out of spot, or one of you doesn't hit this turn, or one of your focuses is wrong, everybody is off. It's just so many things. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. Like, so many different nuances, like the pedagogy of dance. It's mind blowing. I sound like an art nerd right now, but